Hi guys, welcome to Wine and Yap. My name is Emlyn. I'm so excited to be here and start this podcast off. We've got our wine and I'm the Yap. This is going to be the kind of podcast where we discuss the topics that maybe are a little bit more easy to discuss over a glass of wine or whatever your alcoholic beverage of choice is, or non-alcoholic if you're sober. You don't need wine. Wine is not required, but if you want some, grab your nearest beverage. But the whole idea is to just let loose and open up a little bit. So a little bit about me. I am a singer-songwriter. I have been releasing music since, 2019, I would say. And I built my following on TikTok and Instagram Reels. And I posted some songs about being a bad bitch that seemed to resonate with the general public. I have been so fortunate to move to LA and follow my dreams and experience life all the way from the least glamorous things from the absolute most bizarre, how did I even get invited to this thing kind of things. But I sit around with my friends who do all sorts of jobs, all the way from acting to singing to maybe they literally are not in the entertainment industry at all. But we sit down, we have a glass of wine or whatever, and we chat. And I just keep thinking, man, I wish some of these conversations were recorded, because how interesting it is to live this sort of weird life where the general public may have an assumption of what our lives are like. And I just want to clear it up because sometimes it's fucking bizarre. I'd love to get into some examples, but first let me just start by saying this season is going to be filled with the coolest guests ever. I'm so excited. Top to bottom, just amazing, fun, gossipy questions. I also, every once in a while, will open up my Instagram to ask either some relationship advice questions or just general, what do you want to ask? So stay tuned for that on my Instagram and make sure to leave comments below. I would love to hear what you guys think. But a little bit of what you can expect this season is hot gossip, unhinged girl talk, the kind of shit that only comes out at a sleepover when everyone's like a little tipsy, or maybe we've just been having a little too much fun and we're high on life. But to kick off episode 1, I wanted to start off with a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And one thing about me is I'm going to have an opinion. Sometimes about stuff that I don't really need to have an opinion about. Could be about the color of your shirt, but I'm going to care and I'm going to tell you. So I do have a feeling a good portion of this podcast will be a little ranty, but also sorry, not sorry. So let's talk about the cardinal rules of girlhood. I want to invite you guys into the world, the brain of Emlyn for a second, okay? I am a self-proclaimed girl's girl. I have a song called Girl's Girl. So it's been said. And these are a set of guidelines that I like to follow all the way from the girls that you meet in the bathroom at the club to your best friends. These are just some tips and tricks that I feel like are important for you to consider in making new friends and keeping your old friends and just kind of being an overall top-notch girl. Now, some of these hot topics are a little controversial. Please keep in mind that you don't have to agree with everything. These are my opinions. And I really welcome your feedback, so please drop a comment below. I want to hear what you have to say. Open my mind. Maybe we'll discuss it on the next episode. So, number 1, I'm going to say something crazy, but bear with me. Normalize gossip. Normalize gossip. You heard me. I think gossip just gets such a freaking bad rep for being something we as women, as maybe even men, should be ashamed of or should feel guilty about. And I get it, it's an age-old concept, but I have so many reasons why I think gossip is actually really good for the soul. Now, we could get really into the nitty-gritty. Like, I went to college and I learned a whole lot about sociology and what it means for human beings to feel belonging. And honestly, what it comes down to is we just want to be able to categorize and find people that we have something in common with. So when I sit down and I gossip, and let me clarify, there is a very huge difference between talking shit and gossiping. Talking shit is spouting off about somebody, particularly about something they can't do anything about. I'm not going to ever sit with my friends and be like, that person, their nose is too big. What the fuck? First of all, who am I to think anybody's nose is too big? Second of all, there is nothing that I gain or my friends gain from truly just saying bad shit about another person. However, I think analyzing a situation and maybe the background in which formulated that person's mindset is completely okay. I'm going to take a big sip of wine for this one. What you say about me behind my back, none of my business. I don't want to know. I don't care. I know it's happening because if you're doing anything cool or even semi-interesting, someone is talking about you behind your back. If there's a group of girls that sit around on a Saturday night and they talk about how I'm cringe on the internet, or maybe I'm annoying or I've been unkind to them, and they find camaraderie in discussing this, power to you. Please do not tell me. I don't want to know. But at the same time, we're not friends, so why the fuck do I care what you think? So we as humans find other humans that have something in common with us, and we find this connection, and we're like, yes, I fuck with you. And it's why you see all those TikToks and reels that are like the best friend that you found because you hated the same person in common. I think it's really important. Now, I know I can't police what people are saying about people behind their backs, but you can kind of always tell when you're in a group of girls and someone's talking about someone and it starts to get into that territory of like, and she's fucking crazy. Sorry. I'm going to stop you right there. Crazy? Did a guy tell you that? Not a word I would typically use to describe girls ever. That's when you're starting to get into the territory of talking shit. Now, that being said, if you were to take the approach of something more like, clearly that girl has been through some stuff. She reacted in a way that felt really disproportionate to the situation, and it was off-putting. That's an opinion. I'm not labeling her. I'm not calling her crazy. And to be totally honest, most of the time I'm gossiping, it's about boys. Girls rarely get my gossip. But sometimes I'm going to sit around with my friends and I'm going to say, blah, blah, blah. They do this thing. I kind of wish they'd change. And I'm not really sorry for it. None of y'all can sit here and tell me that the moment somebody sits down with a margarita and some chips and salsa and they go, girl, you are not sat ready to listen to every word that is about to come out of their mouth. I'm like, okay, got my drink. Tell me. Literally just the other night, I went out with a group of girlfriends. New girls, by the way, not people I'd spent a lot of time with, but we, as one does, got onto the topic of boys, and one of the girls goes, oh, there's just so much lore to this one. I was like, girl, what do you think I'm here for? All I have is time. Please begin. Like, I want to know every bit of lore, and I'm going to be sucking down my martini as you tell me. So anyway, I'm tired of pretending like it's a problem that I love gossip, and I think you should embrace it too. Number 2, I think I'm going to get some heat for this one because it's pretty controversial. I think you should be able to block people on Instagram without it being such a big deal. Your social media is your social media. I understand there's this big kind of like, oh, should I block him? It feels like, particularly, let's talk about boys. You might come across the ex where you're like, should I block him? It feels really extreme. I don't want him to think that I hate him, or I'm sorry, that's not your problem. What he's thinking, what he's worrying about, why maybe did she block me? Not your issue. It's your Instagram, it's your social media, and if you want to control who's seeing what you're putting out into the world, that is absolutely okay. That's why it's social media, it's public. I'm just so sick of worrying about whether I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. And I guess part of this goes to the fact that I wish we would destigmatize how big of a deal it is to block somebody on Instagram, because I'm not negating the fact that like it kind of is a big deal. It's not just like muting them or whatever. And I myself have gone through the motions of, do I just mute them? Should I remove them as a follower? I went back and forth about blocking my ex for fucking God knows how long. I would even block him and unblock him, block him, unblock him. Couldn't decide. I always felt like it was extreme, but it felt like it was what I needed in my recovery for my breakup process. Now, to this day, I happen to know that blocking did feel quite extreme to this person. He's not happy. And that worried me for a little while, but then I realized I was still spending so much time concerned about his feelings. I was like, but I feel freer. Maybe we reserve blocking for the people who have truly caused you harm or make you feel anxious, or maybe when you're scrolling on your feed, you see them post something and it makes you feel insecure. Block them. It's fine. I can't tell you how many people have blocked me where I'm like, I thought we were friends. That's fine. I was wrong. It's none of my fucking business why. Maybe I triggered them. Maybe they saw me doing something that they wanted to do and it made them feel weird. I'm not going to blame you. And at the end of the day, no one should blame anyone. What it really comes down to is it's just social media. It's not your life. It's not who you are as a human being. I blocked my ex on social media. Does that mean I'm never going to speak to him again? I can hear the choir of my friends going. But no, not necessarily. You never know. There's my life, my real life, and then there's Instagram. You know what? I would even go so far as to say as, am I going to get offended if you block me on Instagram? Yeah, probably. But who cares? Why do you care what I think? Feels like there's a theme within this episode of don't give a fuck what people think. unless they're your close friends and family and you've made an active decision to prioritize their opinions in your life. And while we're on the topic of Instagram, can I just say, can we bring back Insta stories? I feel like there's this fear of posting on our Instagram story, like, oh, we're going to post too much. I want to see your spam. And on that topic, can we also bring back tagging the location? Like, if you're posting your sushi that you just had for dinner and it looks fucking amazing and you don't put the location there, I'm sorry. How am I ever going to be able to taste that? Don't gatekeep your sushi restaurants. Don't gatekeep any of your restaurants. In fact, don't gatekeep your coffee shop. Don't gatekeep your favorite grocery stores. I want to see everything. And I don't even really care if it's perfectly aesthetic or not. Okay, post a photo that you're visiting home for the holidays, but tell me where your home is. I want to see that location every time. I suppose at the end of the day, like, I just want to be engaged. I want you to post a story and for me to want to click on something. Oh, she looks like she's at a cool restaurant. Oh, they went ice skating. I wonder where there's an ice rink nearby. Boop. Number 3 in the rules of girlhood. Are you in a relationship? Come here. This is for you. You do not need to tell your boyfriend everything your best friends tell you. And on the flip side, you don't need to tell your best friend everything your boyfriend tells you. I cannot stress this enough. Your best friend in particular is always going to have a filter of protectiveness over you in a way that's honestly kind of unfair. I would know from experience. I wrote a song called My Best Friend's Ex, all about how I would literally my best friend's ex. So let's start with that side. Do I think you should keep secrets from your best friends about your partner? No, absolutely not. You yourself know when there's something going on that's a little shady. One method I use is sprinkling the information amongst my friends. I don't pick one and tell them every crazy weird thing this dude has done or potential red flag that I'm worried about. I tell one to one friend, one to another, and one to another. And then I get their opinions separately. And then I add it all up in my head. And here's the reason why. I tried the first option where I went to one person and I told them everything. This man started off rough. I'll give her that. But even when he really made an effort to try to prove that he was actually in this for all the right reasons, she wasn't going to listen. Is it me? Are we talking about me? No, we're not, but it could have been. Pretty much any time my best friend tells me, yeah, and he did kind of raise his voice a little bit when he was feeling cornered. I hate him. I hate your boyfriend. I hate him. I'm picturing ways to hang him by his fingers. His toes? Skin him alive? I mean, whatever it takes. Your best friend wants you to find the absolute prince or princess for you. They want your partner to be a perfect human being could possibly be. And they're not wrong for wanting that, but no human being is perfect. So yeah, controversial, but maybe don't tell your best friend everything that your boyfriend does. That's crazy. Just like a few of them. You're going to have a better shot of making your own choices, especially if you're easily swayed. If you're a people pleaser and you want your friends to all be happy. Now, let me be clear. The moment that man gets physical, you tell everybody, and everything. The moment he gets verbally abusive, you tell them everything. But, okay, he forgot your 3-month anniversary. I think there are definitely exceptions to this rule, but that's my opinion. The other side of this. I know there's a group of girls in particular, and I'm going to talk about my girls because I have a lot of girlfriends in this particular category. I know there's a lot of girls who are like, that's my partner. I tell them everything. No, please don't. Please. The moment a girl tells me, oh, well, I tell my partner everything. A man? You tell a man everything? I mean, okay, maybe he's different. Maybe he's different than other men. But everything? I have one girlfriend, cracks me up, that she always says to keep at least one secret in your relationship. Nothing big, nothing important. But like, maybe you go on little girl trip runs to the grocery store and get your favorite little girl things when you say you're running an errand to CVS. I don't know. Stupid things. But it is always important to keep one secret. And you know, if I found out that my boyfriend was keeping a secret from me and it wasn't that big of a deal, like maybe we're on a health kick, a diet, and he is cheating once a week. Okay, it's healthy. Have something for yourself. And that goes along with your best friend's shit. I cannot stress this enough. It is not your secret to tell. It isn't. If your partner is getting onto you about this, tell them to reverse the roles. The shit that he's telling his guys on guy night, you really think that guy wants you to know about it? I don't think so. I'm all for the importance of honesty, but sometimes there's truly no point in telling somebody something. besides merely being honest. If you get hung up on the moral value of honesty over loyalty to your best friend, let's say, you got your priorities all mixed up. Just remember, you had that friendship with your girlfriend or guy friend or whoever it is before you were in the relationship. It doesn't go away the moment you start dating somebody. They're still your best friend. You still hold their secrets the way that they hold yours. And if you let some dude get in the way of that, fucking bye. This is my final rule of girlhood. Perhaps my most controversial of the entire evening. I have a feeling this is the one that's going to get the most comments and responses. I think sometimes it's okay to lie. Yes, you heard me. I think sometimes telling the truth can, not always, can do significantly more harm than if you just kept your mouth shut. There are a lot of people who were raised on honesty is the best policy. I wish I could go back to that kindergarten and be like, is it the best policy? Let's say your best friend is getting married, okay? They have spent 8 months looking for the perfect dress. They've asked opinions from all their friends. They've gone up and down, all these different styles. Finally, it's a week before their wedding. God, I hope you didn't wait for the week before your wedding for this, but let's just say she flies to New York, she tries on a dress, doesn't tell anybody, and she decides, this is my wedding dress. I love it so much. I've never felt more beautiful. I feel happy. I feel ready. She sends you a photo and she says, I'm so happy. I finally found my wedding dress. She's getting married in a week. I love it so much. It's the ugliest thing you've ever seen in your life. I mean, it's horrific. Like, you're wondering if this girl's ever seen a wedding dress before. So she says, what do you think? What do I think? Ma'am, I think you look like the prettiest princess I've ever seen. I have never seen a prettier girl in a prettier dress in my life. You think I'm gonna tell this bitch, I don't really like, what? What good does that do? It doesn't do anybody any good. You got your opinion out there, sure, but she's devastated. You're her best fucking friend. She was sure about it, and it's too goddamn late for her to change it. How would telling the truth in that moment do anybody any good? And it's not just girl situations either. Like, I'm sorry. Cancellation policies, you should be able to lie. You heard me. If you have to pay money for a cancellation fee, lie your ass off. And I've said some questionable lies in my day to get out of cancellation fees. I don't think you should ever do the my family's sick or there's an emergency, because I think you're manifesting something, so watch it. But let's say I don't want to go to yoga. I woke up not feeling great. I woke up a little under the weather. I don't want to spread a fever to anybody. You never know. I don't have a thermometer. I did not take my temperature. I could have one. There's really no way to know. You could justify it in your mind, but at the end of the day, I'm not paying your $20 fee because I booked a class when I thought I was ready to take yoga, and today I don't really feel like it. These corporations don't need the money. Lie your ass off. The only other time I also think it's acceptable is if your friend tells you a secret that ends up weighing more heavily on you personally by holding the secret because it's a lot of pressure. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm saying this. I know. I kind of think you should be able to tell one person. I think if it were me and I told my friend something that was really important to me and I said, please, please, please don't tell anybody, and it was a huge deal, and later down the road I found out she told one person and that person never, ever, ever told anybody else. Was it fair to begin with for me to ask her to keep the secret? Probably not. So maybe that's just why I have a little bit more understanding for it. I know that one is really controversial. Generally, I'm a pretty locked box, but I think that if someone tells me something that's actually just truly everyday stressing me out, I should be able to relieve myself of that stress, because it's not my problem. Some people might argue that that's the weight of friendship that you're bringing on. That's the price of it. I don't know. Life's too short to feel like you're going to have a panic attack any second, you know? Those are the cardinal rules of girlhood. And yeah, I guess they're kind of also the cardinal rules of being a good human, in my opinion. There's so many arguments to everything that I just said that are completely valid, and I want to hear you guys tell me what they are. I don't need you to agree with me to love you. I'm just so lucky to be able to do this finally and start spouting off my mouth about things I probably shouldn't be. But I'm a super opinionated girl and I have so much I want to talk about all the time. Guys, I cannot wait for this season. This is the tiniest little itty bitty taste of what's to come. There are going to be guests you cannot believe. We're going to talk about stuff that I know they don't want me to ask, but they're my friends, so they have to answer. And let me tell you, once we start talking, we don't stop. But what I'm most excited for is asking them the questions that you guys want the answers to. I love watching interviews and learning about the art behind someone's craft, but I kind of also want to hear my favorite celebrity tell me what it's like dating in public or red flags they might have. I want the juicy gossip, and I know you want it too. I can't wait to get into it. If you have questions that you want me to ask or topics you want me to talk about, please comment below or DM me on my Instagram, Wine and Yap. That's wine with an H, like whining. WHINE and Yap, YAP. My name is Emlyn. I'm so excited to be launching my very first podcast episode. You guys are here to listen to it. Make sure you subscribe and check out the next couple episodes. Bye.